Hey, are you still at work? Could you possibly pick up some eggs and toilet paper on your way back home?
Seriously? What have you been occupied with throughout the day?
My apologies, but I've been feeling quite bloated and weighed down lately. The baby is expected any day now, and my back is causing me a lot of discomfort.
I understand, but consider this a euro, you were well aware of the due date. It would have been wise to plan for this ahead of time. I can't be expected to handle everything for you all the time.
I'm sorry. This is my first experience being pregnant. I didn't take that into consideration, I admit. Plus, I've been dealing with a bit of anxiety recently.
Well, let's not even discuss the fact that apparently household chores are off limits when you're anxious. Even though I've been telling you how drained I am from work.
I do realize that you're exhausted from work too. I genuinely appreciate all that you do every day. But perhaps you could choose a more considerate way to express that? If I were physically able, I'd go to the store myself.
I understand that I'm also feeling worn out due to work. And I'm truly thankful for your efforts. But do you think you could phrase that in a gentler manner? If I had the mobility, I'd definitely go to the store myself.
Okay, let's not dive into this argument again. I'll purchase the items on my way home, so let's just let it go. Ugh. I was just about to fix myself a drink too.
It seems like you're always ready for a drink, don't you think? Wouldn't it be a good time to assist me, considering the circumstances?
I told you, I'll be assisting all the time once the baby arrives. Can we not discuss this right now?
It's not just my baby, you know. It would be nice to see some indication that you recognize you're about to become a father.
According to all those parenting articles, men tend to grasp the reality later than women do. It's probably just how we're wired.
Don't simply generalize it as a male trait. It's not fair to the men nowadays who actively support their wives.
They do it their way, and I do it mine.
You were the one initially grouping all men together.
You've been incredibly difficult to deal with lately. Maybe you should work on addressing your anxiety about the pregnancy before criticizing me. Mothers need to show strength. You can't act completely helpless just because your husband isn't present.
Hey Julie. How's your stomach?
Hi, Fatima. How many times have you messaged me now? This is like the fourth time just today.
I can't help it. I'm so excited to meet my grandchild. And I remembered you said you had some slight stomach pain this morning. I couldn't help but worry.
Well, I definitely appreciate the concern. We're already past the expected due date. So I guess I should be ready for her to come at any time. But don't worry. I promise I'll message you as soon as I start going into labor.
Don't you forget. I'll be there the very next minute.
Thanks, that's really reassuring. Oh,
What?
I think my water just broke.
Oh. OMG.
I might just be leaking though. It doesn't feel like much came out.
It's different for everyone. It's just a trickle for some people. Anyway, are you calm? I think we should call the hospital now.
I'm calm. No problem here. I'll call the hospital now. You're still not home? I think my water broke. I need to go to the hospital now. Can you drive me, please?
Your water broke? So that means you're not actually giving birth yet, right?
Well, we won't know until we go to the hospital and check.
Well, let me know when it looks like the baby is actually coming. I've had a few, so I can't drive now.
You're drinking. I see. But please come once I go into labor, okay? You took tomorrow off, right?
Yeah, I got it.
Joel, the contractions have started. They're getting closer together. It looks like this baby is coming in the early morning. Why haven't you answered me yet? It's already been 1 hour. The contractions are getting so intense. Please get here soon. The baby is here. You never showed up, in the end.
You're finished? Good job.
What do you mean, good job? Are you sure nothing's wrong? I just gave birth to our first child, and yet you were just out the whole time.
Yeah, that's my mistake. Anyway, I've got a headache right now, so I'll head over after I get some rest. I'm sure you don't want me there reeking of whiskey.
You're still not here? It's almost noon.
Give me a break, will you? I said I'm coming. I'm hungover, and my head hurts so bad I can barely move right now.
Your wife just had a baby. What the heck were you thinking, staying out all night drinking? Not only that, she even told you when the contractions were starting. What is the matter with you?
Can you please not start yapping about Julie right away? I figured she was just blowing things out of proportion with all the contractions talk.
Joel, you must be sorely confused right now. Who the heck do you think you're talking to? I am your mother. What is the matter with you?
Well,
What? Do you think there's any excuse for this?
no, sorry. I think maybe I'm just still tipsy from last night or something.
It would certainly appear so. But you're awake now at least, aren't you?
Yes, Mom.
You lied and told me that you couldn't be here because of work. And then I get here to find this. Julie told me everything. What is it you're trying to do here exactly? And not only that, you wouldn't even help her out with the housework when she was feeling tired? And you can't even pick stuff up from the store every once in a while without complaining? Do you think pregnancy is easy? Your wife put her life on the line to have this child. Your child.
I know. You're right.
Do you have any idea how unnerving it is to be giving birth without your husband there by your side? You're a father now. What happened to the Joel who was crying with joy when he found out his wife was pregnant? And what are you going to say when your child is grown and finds out her dad was out getting drunk when she was being born? Did you think about that? Julie told me you're having trouble at work. Do you think you can drink away that stress?
No matter what I do, everything is so difficult, nothing seems to go right. The whole time I feel like I just want to quit, but if I do that, I won't be able to provide for my family. When I think about someone like me being a father, I can't help but think that there's no way I can be happy. So,
If that's the case, you never should have decided to be a father. Your daughter and your wife's happiness is also dependent on living happily with you. You can always get more money, but you can never get back missed moments with your family. Even though Julie kept trying to talk to you about this. Was it some kind of twisted pride that prevented you from doing that? Families deal with difficult times together. No matter how difficult things get. Can't you talk it over with your wife for your family's sake? It's important for a married couple to share their feelings with one another. Good things and bad. You need to cool off until you can understand that. So to that end, Now that the baby is here, I'm taking her and Julie home with me for the time being.
What?
It's what she wants. She said she'd rather stay with me than with her own parents. It would give her more peace of mind. Despite everything, she's afraid of losing contact with you. Besides, we're happy to have her here. Her parents have been quite understanding as well.
That's okay then. I'll give her a hand with all of the housework and child rearing and support her with everything.
What do you mean give her a hand?
I'll help her out and try and reduce her burden.
You still haven't realized that that way of thinking is flawed from the very start. I know that you have to work, so I'm sure it's impossible for you to do all the housework. But childcare is not something for you to help out with. You have to do it. Plain and simple. That goes without saying. Whose child is it?
Mine.
That's right. Helping out is something that you do for other people and their work.
You're right.
So I'm going to take them for now so that Julie can relax and recuperate. And her parents and I are going to have a long talk about what's best for the future.
Okay, I'll be at the hospital as soon as I can.
Hey, Joel, sorry for not getting back to you.
Hey. It's fine. You don't have to respond to someone like me.
Please don't say things like, someone like me, anymore.
Sorry.
I talked to my parents. They said you've been going to their house every day after work. And that you've been apologizing to them every day.
Well, I'm honestly so sorry about what I did. I figure I'll keep going there every day until they finally forgive me.
You're coming here every day as well, right? Sorry. I just didn't know how I should talk to you. That's why I've been asking your mom to send you away.
I know. I was really terrible. But how are you feeling? I guess you're probably still not up for coming home, huh?
Yeah. It's just that it's so easy to focus on taking care of the baby here. And even still, it's surprising how little time I have just to sleep.
I see. I know I was so terrible before. I'm really so sorry.
But I have been thinking of coming sooner rather than later. I've heard how hard you've been trying. It sounds like your mom maybe knocked some sense into you. I heard you're staying on top of all the housework and cleaning. She said you're keeping the house ready so that we can come home at any time. And that you've stopped going out drinking.
I've stopped drinking entirely since that day, to tell the truth. I was relying on the wrong things to get me through the day. And I know that words are cheap and it's hard to believe me right now. And the things I did can't be forgiven so easily. But I figure that I can at least do the things that I have to do for now. And even if we still end up getting divorced, at least I'll know I tried my best to fix it. I know they say that people can't change, but I want to prove them wrong.
I'm not going to divorce you.
Really? Is that true?
I wouldn't lie to you. I know that you've been trying so hard to change. I know, and so do my parents. They told me that if you come to the house tomorrow, they're going to let you in and forgive you. You haven't broken the promise that you made at the hospital even once. I should probably apologize too. I've told them a lot of things that went on between us.
Please, you don't have to apologize for anything. But thank you. Thank you so much.
But it's okay for you to apologize to and thank me and my parents. But more than anyone, you have to apologize to and thank your mother. Your mom has plenty of things to do here at her own house. And yet she still took the time to go to our house and coach you. You need to let her know how much that means.
I'll make time as soon as possible to do just that. And I'll figure out the best way to tell her.
And don't think that just because I'm coming home things are going to get easier. Even though I'll be there to help out with the housework. It's time for you to start taking care of our daughter as well. It's time to step up as a father.
I'm not going to run away again. I also want to set aside some time for us to talk about my job.
Yes, let's do that. I know you might think it looks bad to say that you can't do something. But while you might think so, I want to be there for you to understand you and accept you. I know that you have your pride, but you aren't alone. And there's no need for you to rush anything. You don't have to be so stressed all the time. At the very least, I don't think you look bad the way you are right now. So I'm coming home next week.
Thank you, Julie. I'll be the best husband ever.
But it's not just me coming home.
I know. I'll be the best father ever as well.
Not just us. Your mother is coming as well.
My mom?
She's worried that you might dump all the housework and childcare onto me as soon as I get home. Maybe you'll go back to the Joel who was out drinking while I was in the hospital giving birth. Considering how unreliable you were. We thought I shouldn't go back home without any kind of guarantee.
Ah, I understand. You've changed, haven't you? Maybe my mom has rubbed off on you?
It's like you said. Mothers have to be strong. I talked to Joel's friends about what he was up to after I gave birth. They told me that he had refused all invitations to go drinking. And had been going to my parents' house to apologize as soon as he finished work. He also came to visit me at his own parents' house, but his mom chased him away every time. He stuck to this same routine every day for 3 weeks. And when my parents relented and gave him their forgiveness, they told me that he wept. After that, I took his mother with me and moved back into the house as promised. I hardly recognized our house after the changes he had made in just 1 month. The rooms were spotless and filled with things for the baby. There was no trace of alcohol anywhere in the house. And his cooking. He made amazing progress in such a short time. It was actually a bit scary how good it was. A few days later, we talked about his work. The main thing was trouble with his boss. That was the most difficult thing at least, but other difficult things were also piling up. I told him I wished there was more that I could do to help him, and we cried together as a couple for the first time in a long time. After that, Joel found a better position at a good company where he was blessed with good co-workers. I never once forbid him from going drinking or anything like that. But all the same, he never once went out drinking again. And eventually he lost touch with his drinking buddies. But he didn't mind. He just laughed and said he didn't need friendships that disappeared so easily. I used to worry about him all the time. And about whether someone so selfish and self-serving would really be a good father. But after this incident, I really learned about the importance of believing in people. And I saw firsthand that people really can change. Fast forward to now. It's been 2 years since that time and we've just had our second child. Even though he is working, Joel has never faltered in being supportive at home. And he stood right beside me this time as I was giving birth. When I look around me now, what I see is completely different than 2 years ago. My life is now overflowing with smiles and happiness. This is what it really means to be happy.